I was fighting your bear mount. You're getting nervous.
You trying to tear my bear up?
You give me that look. You're like, oh, I was like, oh, I know that daddy look.
What's going on here?
You know the daddy look?
Yeah.
I'm about to get the belt out, boy.
And he's like, oh, boys get crazy in here.
Oh, mate. All right, y'all, welcome back to 18 Outdoors. We're sitting here having a good time. So, if y'all don't know these cats, two major big buck killers. So, Rendell, Erik, Jace, Allen. Where are you from?
Missouri.
Missouri. It's a big buck state. Iowa, another big buck
Yeah. That's right.
You're kind of a transplant, though, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm from the South originally.
Well, I guess we'll deal with you moving off to a big
Oh,
buck
yeah.
country,
I don't feel bad about it one bit.
So, what about you? You was born and raised in Missouri?
Yep. Yeah, born and raised in Missouri. Southern part of Missouri, and then I moved to the northern part. Yeah, I'm trying to get close to Iowa.
That explains a lot.
And why did you decide to do that? Because of Rendell?
Well, I went there to college to begin with, and then I started discovering all of the like agricultural land that was around me and all the the big deer that were around there, and I was like, wow, this is a lot better than where I came from. And so I started chipping away at that, and that was in 2014, and I didn't kill a decent buck there until 2019. So it took me a lot of years.
Y'all didn't tell me to turn the TV off.
Oh, whoops.
No, I didn't even hear it. I was too busy talking.
Whenever you said something. Oh.
We're acting a fool in front of your camera over here.
Wear it out!
Did it die or does it do that?
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the screen.
If that
just
thing
goes
red
off,
light
save
quits
battery.
blinking, and it's happened to me, be halfway through once. What happened? It quit working. So.
I got you.
We're not going to edit this crap out because we're just rednecks and
Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, brother.
two rednecks here, transplanted rednecks, and you're in
Yeah.
Missouri.
I'm a hillbilly at heart.
Hillbilly at heart. So. What do you think about you blowing it off a hard?
Man, I love that thing.
So explain that to people about the deep grunts, because a lot of people in the South are anti-hard, real loud grunting.
Oh man, the louder the better for me. Them big old Midwest mature bucks. Oh, how rude was that? Who was that?
Who has the gall?
Who has the gall to interrupt us?
Dan Info!
No, it was not. This
Oh.
is buddy Ryan.
All right, good.
Ryan Pelger from Ohio. Figured Midwest guys gotta be rude. But anyways, those Midwest bucks, they got really deep grunt roars when they're in the rut. I don't know if it's got bigger bellies, bigger bodies, or what, but they really get down deep in that diaphragm, and when they grunt, it's a lot deeper. And if you got one of those little baby calls out yonder with you, it doesn't sound deep, so they don't believe that you're a buck too. But if you got one that's got that deep volume to it, it tricks them into believing that there's another mature buck around instead of just some fawn thing it doesn't really care about.
And if you're dealing with those deer on that upper level, I grunted in a buck in 2012, and I got down in this draw with this deer. I knew he had a doe down there, and I grunted at that deer, and that deer came up out of that holler and grunted at me so loud. I mean, it was scary how loud this grunt was. I ended up getting him, but I'll never forget that how deep and loud that freaking grunt was. I mean, it was incredible.
I've heard it a few times in the South, and one time this past year, and somebody got to give me like a second meaning about it, whatever. They were saying that a lot of times a mature buck, if he knows or thinks there's been another mature buck in the area, or another mature buck close, he'll do that more aggressive, deep, just letting them know, hey, I'm the boss, this is my doe, whatever grunt. So, I guess in the South, we might not have as many or as much competition for mature bucks to get that much. But I have heard it a couple of times, and it'd be like almost make your hair stand up on your back of your neck because we just don't hear it that much. So.
Yeah, it's like if you're about to get in a fist fight with a feller and I just screamed in your face really loud, you'd be like, whoa, this guy's psycho, I'm out, you know? It might deter him a little bit, so I think that's what the buck's trying to get across when he's grunting. Wow. Even when they're chasing on the doe and they're doing that, where every step they're grunting.
Tending grunt.
Yeah, it's even way deeper sounding than what people think it is. I'll hear it and I'll be like, man, that's super deep volume. Almost like you don't think it's a deer, but then they pop out and you're like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's up.
And then the other thing about that is that deeper tone, it carries a lot further in the woods too, I think. So if you got a call really far out, you can really rip on this thing and get that really deep, kind of almost like you're bugling to an elk kind of volume to it out there, so he can actually hear you. Because when they're that far away, I mean, it doesn't have to sound perfect, but you need to get the volume. Because if he's out there 100 yards and he ain't coming in, I'm going to throw a Hail Mary out there to try to get him to hear me. If it's a grunt, snort, wheeze, something I can do loud as I can.
Yeah.
Try to catch his attention.
You pay attention to the body language too on some of that,
Yeah.
when you start doing that, or before you do it, or just the whole thing, just playing it by ear.
I usually don't blind call. I wait till I see the deer. I watch what the deer's doing, and then in my mind, I decide that buck is never coming over here. Then I'm gonna call it to him. Either the snort, wheeze, or I'll try the grunt. If the grunt doesn't get him, then I'll just use my mouth and snort, wheeze like as loud as I can. And then a lot of times it's something they don't always hear, because most people are always grunting and not snort, wheezing. So they're not used to that, so it kind of takes them off the alert.
Yeah, I had a buck I killed this October.
Talk a little bit louder.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
Remember, this ain't no fancy studio.
Come on, man. Well,
Yeah.
Well, come on now, boys. That's how you got talking here, son.
I had a buck I killed in October, and all throughout the summer and into September, he was running with a bachelor group. And October the 5th, we had a cold front coming in, which I think they're more susceptible to calling whenever it's cold out, especially in that October. But whenever I saw him that last time, I noticed at that point he was by himself, and whenever he got up out of his bed, and there was a tree right next to him, and he just started absolutely raking the crap out of his tree. But I knew he wasn't going to come to where I was at, so I was like, that buck is probably going to be receptible to calling, and then also like Rendell just said, that deer's not coming over here, so it's either I got to go to him or he's going to come to me.
All right, now let's back up and get a little history to this, or introduction basically. We got a big deer show coming up in Birmingham, but when this video comes out, it might already happen. So, and they stopped by and we're just chatting, hanging out, and getting ready for that show. So I asked them if they want to stay and hang out, so they did. And we cooking and eating and just talking up deer hunting. But how many deer? This is Jace Allen from Missouri. How many deer have you killed? About
49.
49. How many bucks?
28.
How many? What could we go back like level as far as
Booners.
Booners?
Booners.
I've killed a bunch of them.
This is the next level of booners. Well, how many booners have you killed?
3.
I got 5.
1. So these guys, don't know what they're talking about doing. So we're gonna hang out and talk, and just tell a few stories and maybe a few tips or whatever. So and you're 28. Is that many? And you're?
I'm 38.
Don't lie. I'm 48.
I'm 38. I am not 48 years old. He might be 48.
Hey, he's 40.
Yeah, I'm 38.
They trying to make me feel good or something, like I just get my hamburger or something. So.
Yeah, that burger, that was good.
Joe's 48.
What about the Boudin?
The Boudin.
Boudin. That's pretty good stuff.
Weaver's meat processing, Boudin, out of deer, man.
That was good stuff. Had to get on that, y'all. I was just gonna load up a big old cattle trough of them and just eat them.
Oh, funny. I'm 59.
Nah, man. Youngin'.
Yeah, I'm a youngin'.
Mm-hmm.
So, and y'all doing all what y'all doing, me at my age, and just hoping to maybe kill another Papillon before I die.
Yeah, well, we live in the Midwest, a little different.
Right.
So, that's amazing, though. All right, start telling me some kind of crazy story. What's your favorite hunt? Your best hunt?
Favorite,
Well,
best?
first, let's say, what do you prefer to hunt? Early season, rut, or late season?
I'm trying to get better at hunting the rut. Early season's been a favorite. I do love late season just because the conditions are kind of brutal out there, and it's really easy to pick where the deer are feeding. If you're in ag land and where they're bedding, usually you can figure that stuff out pretty easily. Killing them's a different question, but I would say as far as crazy hunts I've had, probably I guess my most popular one is an early season hunt in Kentucky. For my biggest buck ever, I was down there hunting for 20 days straight, and I got that buck on the 20th day. I was hunting 2 different deer down there, and these deer they were bedding in soybeans, which I hadn't come across before. But these 2 deer that I was hunting, I had 5 encounters with the other one, put 4 stalks on them, and I was within range of this deer for 15 plus hours over 4 encounters. Wow. But this deer never left beans that were underneath it. So it made, actually putting a shot on these deer, the hardest part. Well, on the 20th day, finally, the other deer that I was hunting in there, I saw him, and he was in a favorable spot for me to put a stalk on him and actually get an arrow to him. And I got a good arrow to him, and then I put another one in him whenever he ran out there to 63. That's a very, very short version of the craziest hunt that I've ever had. But early season would probably be my favorite. Then that Kentucky hunt, that would probably be my craziest experience.
About you?
Early season.
Well, I kind of figured that, but
or late rut.
Y'all people in the South, or most of the people that watch this, early season is kind of a little bit different.
October is early season, and the September. Well, depending on what state you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Like Missouri opens September 16th ish.
15th.
Iowa opens October 1st, but I hunt a lot of other states besides Iowa.
Yeah.
But I still like early season, so September, October. Anything out of the rut.
Out of the rut.
Out of the prime rut. I'm not a fan of the rut, but trying to get better at it. But there is the Thanksgiving week I like a lot. A lot of big bucks get killed that time. They're long lining out, looking for the last bit of does.
Right.
They're kind of relating more to bedding areas then, not just random pandemonium.
Wow. So, how much did that deer score? I'm sorry.
That's all good.
It was 183 and some change.
Wow. What's your biggest buck?
181.
181. He got you beat.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It was blind in one eye, and he shot it at the old folks'
That was
home.
a different deer.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky.
Oh, you can use corn piles in Kentucky.
Yeah.
You don't rake your corn up in Iowa.
No, we just leave it out there.
But anyway, he's got the biggest buck.
Yeah.
Not with a bow,
He's
though.
got bigger than us.
Not with a bow, though. So.
He hit his with a truck. He the whole screw.
Yeah, with a truck.
Yeah, it slowed him down good. What's your craziest hunt that you've ever had?
Craziest hunt?
Yeah, it's a tough question, isn't it?
Yeah, as far as crazy, I've had a couple that didn't work out. One was I had one grunting with a deep grunt, just wide open, zigzagging, and I'm sitting there with a rifle and a crazy perfect funnel, and I'm saying, man, this is gonna be it. And next thing I know, up through some little pine stuff and just from my sight, and I thought. But it went on for 10 minutes, and I heart just beating, and it was just so crazy of intense action and nothing, just gone. So, as far as crazy exciting hunt was the one that Pope and Young killed the bow. The way it worked out, grunting, chasing, and I could see Rack knew it was good, and the doe come by, and I jumped up as soon as she went by, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to try to stop this sucker because he's running wide open, and just perfectly he stopped, and I was just able to focus and shoot and just like that. So that was crazy, and And I never had one that wide on the camera. And so whenever he'd stop looking for the doe after I shot, I was like, oh my God. You know, I've never seen anything that wide. Never have had one on camera that wide. So it was the most exciting hunt. Way more exciting than the monster one because it just only seen him for a split few seconds. And as soon as he stepped out, I shot muzzleloader and then, you know, didn't find, you know, when I found him, it was, you know, huge, but I just didn't know he was that big when I shot. I just knew he was big. So, but the crazy would have been the one with the bow. So, what about you?
I usually say marsh buck, but that's just because it played out perfect hunting buck bedding, but probably the 181. Third week is probably around Thanksgiving, and
A buddy come in here.
oh yeah,
He won't be on TV. I don't know if y'all can see him.
Right there, he's short. Third, all right, I'll put you in talk. Anyways. Third week, November, probably around Thanksgiving, yeah. Set up on this alfalfa. And I don't even know.
Wait. Set up on alfalfa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This wasn't a bed buck hunt?
Well, I was near the bed there.
No, I got a square bale alfalfa out there.
So how it sets up is it's basically a saddle. These two draw heads come up and they're hardwood timbered and got cedar mixed, and then there's an alfalfa that runs through. And the way the wind is, you can only get to the tip of the ridge, and the deer are bedded down because of thermals and wind. You can't push up to that saddle. So I stayed back off the saddle on this old fence corner because I've seen the bottleneck the deer if they come up, because sometimes they'd come up that fence corridor. But I don't even know. I seen like 30 bucks. It was insane. But there was one hot doe, and that's it. And these 30 bucks were all dogging this one doe. I mean, bucks were coming across this pond dam this way, that way, and like tons of them came out of this saddle. And one of them, this big old son-bee, had this broken ear, all tethered to hell, just hanging down. I was like, I think I'd like to shoot that buck right there. And they're pretty far away, so I'm just sitting there watching, like, man, I'm out of the game on this. I was like, can't believe it. And for some, I'm watching, and they're all running around fighting. And I don't know, that big old buck with the tattered ear, I think he just got bored of it all and figured out, like, she ain't, you know what I mean? She ain't giving it up. So he just turns and starts walking down the alfalfa field in the wide open, not a care in the world. And I'm like, this can't be real. And he comes right down and he starts angling away. And I'm like, all right. I'm sitting in this tree stand. And I'm like, all right, forgot my rangefinder at home. We're out in the wide. I'm like, I'm screwed. And I'm just waiting. And here he comes. And he starts turning out more. And I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. He's not going to come any closer. So right when he got about broadside with me, I threw out the map, and he just looked up, and I'm like, I think he's about 50, and just let it rip. And he donkey kicked and tore out of there. And I was like, man, I hit that buck. And then I marked it off as like 55-yard shot. I ended up heart shooting him at 55 yards, sitting down in a tree stand without a rangefinder.
Nice.
I was like, man, that's some luck right there. But my draw length's like 33, and I shoot light arrows, so my arrows shoot really flat. So if I misjudge a little bit, it doesn't, you know, it's not as detrimental to like the heavy arrow guys. Like they're off a couple yards, they're hitting the dirt, you know.
Yeah, like me.
Where I still got the flat trajectory. So it ended up being that 181 and it had that broken ear. So I was like, oh, that's that buck that I wanted to shoot. Because the ear was on the other side when he was coming down the field. So I didn't know, wasn't for sure if it was him or not. But
broken ear buck.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's cool.
50 something. So you think it was 50 something yard when you shot, or you just?
It was 55.
I mean, when you was draw back, you guessed 50
Yeah,
something.
I guess 50, and it was 55.
Wow.
He might have ducked up by that too. Like when I shot, he might have ducked down a little bit. And that could have got me into the heart. I don't care because I
It
got
don't
him,
matter.
but
Dead.
that's a long
Dead.
shot. I shot another buck at 60, but I ranged that one.
Wow,
But that one I just guessed.
that's a long shot. What's your longest shot?
On the first shot, it was 45 yards in 2012. Yeah.
I've shot one at 50, believe it or not, in the
Yeah.
woods in Alabama.
Whew, that is a long ways in the woods.
Yeah, that was far in the woods.
Actually, I figured out my lifetime average. It's, I think, 21. My lifetime average.
That might be mine, maybe that far.
Mhm.
Most of them's close.
Most of all my deer I shoot at 5, like right under me,
Mhm.
or super far away.
Oh yeah.
But I'm a send it guy. If there's a giant out there, I'm sending it.
I believe in that. Just most times the places where we hunt, you ain't gonna get that far
Yeah.
shot without
Mhm.
hitting something more likely. So
That's pretty open than where I hunt now for the most part. I hunt some big timber stuff, but you're probably not shooting 60 in the timber. I mean, you're gonna hit a tree maybe, but that's about it. You might squeeze it through there if you get lucky.
Yeah.
well, he brought up a topic over there. Let's talk about it a second. Heavy arrow guy.
Heavier. I
How-
was joking.
how heavy?
I'm not.
Okay.
He's not.
But I shoot roughly a 450 grain arrow, and I found that combination to be that works for me. What about you?
About 420.
Not 420.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm 500.
500.
Full shaft.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you gotta have that. 'Cause
Yeah.
the draw length you got. Wow.
Mhm.
That's not nothing crazy then. So.
I did I used to run an overdraw and I cut my arrows down to like 29 and a half and put them at 350 spine on 75 pounds. I was
Wow.
pretty sure I was almost dry firing the bow every time because it would blow that little string stopper off my bow every time. But man, they were fast, boy. Just
You know, I remember when the overdraw used to be a big thing.
Oh,
My
yeah.
brother had one because the bows wasn't that fast. They were doing anything they could come up with to make them faster. So
no, yeah.
overdraws. That's something. So,
Hamsky still makes one. You can put it on Matthews.
but,
My buddy put one on his Matthews bow. That you can modify mine. I have a Matthews Atlas I used a little bit last year. You can put one on that. You can fit it on there, but
I don't really care about speed. I'm more worried about the quiet.
yeah.
So,
Well, my air gets there before they hear it.
well,
What kind of bow do you shoot?
Matthews.
Matthews.
I got a new one this year. I was shooting adrenaline for a long time, I guess 10, 12 years, and
Mm-hmm.
I bought the Lift 33 this year, so I'm
Nice.
liking it real good so far. So
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
because last year I had to tuck the crossbow because my bow was messing up right before season, so it'd been took apart and cleaned out. There was something cracking in it, so I just don't know, but I've been toting it forever, so I guess I got my life out of it. But
Yeah.
I've been shooting Matthews. I've had 5 of them, I think. So
Mhm.
I'm, first one I had was a
Switchback?
Feather Max.
That's nice.
Remember that?
Mm-mm.
Way on back,
The oldest one that I could ever recall is the Switchback.
just before the Feather Max, before the Switchback.
Gotcha.
So they had a Feather Light and a Feather Max. I had a Feather Max, shorter bow. Easy. It had a short brace out. It would pop me right there every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to a Legacy, and then shot quite a bit of stuff with it. And then I won Adrenaline and towed it for 10, 12 years, and then now I got the Lift.
Nice.
So I just like them because I've never had any issue with them until this one last year. But it was old, so I mean I guess it'd be expected.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you shoot?
We're both shooting Hoyts this
Hoyts.
year. I'm shooting that. It's the Alpha X30.
I got the RX8 Ultra Carbon bow.
How long yours?
It's 34 something axle to axle. But for my draw length, you gotta have that long axle bow. There's a string angle. Be too steep on the short one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be able to shoot that with fingers, would you?
No, well, I mean, I could try. If I had to, I'd try.
Come down to it.
What was that? Matthews had that little triax. I could
Mhm.
shoot that, and it's pretty short axle to axle. But the string angle is crazy harsh. But I could still shoot it if I had to.
You know, when I went and got that Lift, I shot the I guess it's 27 or something. They had a shorter one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went and got my Adrenaline out, and then I compared it, and I wanted it longer to make them about the same, you know, because the shorter one sometimes would give me a little bit of issues,
Mm-hmm.
so I just matched that up. So what kind of broadhead y'all? Mechanical or fixed?
Mechanical.
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 Yep.
So you what? What are you shooting?
I shoot Dead Meat or Mega Meat G5.
And you Rage?
Yeah, Rage. But the original design, that's actually the the chisel tip now, but just the regular 2-blade, 2-inch cut. You know, chisel tip rages.
Chisel tip?
What, for the dead meat? It's got a cut tip on it. I don't know. They don't call it a chisel tip.
It's kind of like a chisel tip, I
Yeah,
guess.
if it doesn't open, it's still, it's like a small fixed blade if it doesn't open up, but I've never had one fail, so just zips right through them.
I'll shoot Spitfire, so they got with the chisel tips. So I like the chisel tip, just in case you hit a little bone or something. So.
Yeah, it's got the cut on the tip. The dead meat's an 1.5 inch cut, and the mega meat's 2-inch cut. They're both 3 blades.
Cool. I like it bigger cut.
Guys.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
he
it's pretty
messaged
awesome.
me, say his comment here, and he said he's got a, what'd you say he was?
Young, weird,
Young,
shy
weird.
guy.
Young, weird, some kind of guy with him. And I was thinking, I know he's got somebody that's going to be, I was thinking it's going to be Joe Miles for a minute, because he's bringing that up Joe over here, telling me he's got some weirdo. So. But Jace, a real, well-known hunter because I've seen him watch several podcasts, or listen to several podcasts, watch YouTube stuff, and so I was like, so I knew as soon as he got out of the truck, that's for beer. I recognized him, and he ain't Joe, but I was like, he wasn't no weird jerky guy like he was telling me about. So.
It's a little weird.
little
Socially
bit.
awkward.
Oh, yeah, that can be.
I ain't been around him that
He
much
used
yet.
to be quiet, but he's gotten a lot better.
He's got a little bit louder talking now.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, way. But we're all having fun, so.
Yeah, no, I've been enjoying these shows a lot. Obviously, I don't have to deal with all the stuff that Rendell has to deal with. I just get to go along and enjoy all the good stuff. Which hopefully my boss is watching this. It's a lot better than working on decks.
Oh, wait.
But I get to go to these shows and talk to a bunch of people and meet a bunch of people and make connections. It's an awesome time. These just. If I had the availability, I'd just go to these shows on my own, just because that's how fun these expos and like the total archery challenge events and
I've not been to one of them yet. That would be something cool to go to.
Oh man, I was dying. I didn't have my bow with me whenever we were at these total archery challenges. I just wanted to run up that hill, start shooting my bow.
I don't have the pen set up for that, but that would be cool just to go see and watch them doing that, because that looks like it's
Yeah, I think the longest shot was like, what, 130?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
only 130.
Only.
Yeah. Man, there's all walks of life at those TAC events. They're interesting. We did Pennsylvania, Michigan. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
It was nice and cool though. It was like, what, 30s every morning?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
It was-
And that was like in June.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was
That was-
loving it.
that was
Yeah.
really cool.
I bet.
Yeah, had some bonfires, got to hang out with a lot of big time like company owners and stuff.
Really.
Yeah.
You know
Spent a lot of time with like Spartan Forge, Bo Mortonic, Johnny Stewart, guys like that. It was awesome. Trophy Line, Timber Ninja. Like, yeah, it was great for like social networking. What? Lone Wolf was there. I mean, there was a lot of tons of. I even met at like a YouTube or a Instagram, like an influencer guy. Was it Taco Reacts or something like that? I even met him at the TAC event. I was like, what the heck's this guy doing here? Like, that was wild.
Oh, who are you talking about?
There was a famous
Taco what?
Taco Reaction, Reacts or something. I don't know.
These guys were talking about apparently there's going to be the skiing squirrel at this show.
Yeah,
We're
the
gonna
Birmingham show, the Squirrely, there's something squirrely.
Twiggy.
Twiggy, there we go.
Twiggy.
Water skis.
Oh,
Yeehaw, boys.
So get excited for that one.
Yeah.
Oh man, we can't have the taco influencer. We got
Yeah, we got Twiggy. Who else? There's some MMA fighter in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, Corey.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson. Yeah, he was there.
A lot of guys, a lot of companies, a lot of saddle companies. Man, it was cool.
Yeah. These shows, we love doing that because you get to see a lot of the people will, catch up with because we've been Facebooking or whatever throughout the hunting season and all that, and then you get to see them at shows. We don't see them any other time of year, so that's what's fun about that. Just seeing everybody that you've been messaging back and forth during the seasons and stuff, and then when you go to other shows,
Yeah.
the Mobile Hunter Expo and stuff, you're seeing other people, other YouTube people, and
And then I'll try to like slip out to scout with somebody for like one day. So we got the scout
Yeah, you get
Clear cuts
get
with Johnny
nudge
Stewart.
him in the shoulder, see if he'll take us
Yeah,
out.
we might go in the Black Water with the Black Warrior River Bankhead thing and drown me out in the swamp somewhere.
Oh, hey, they want me to carry the Black Warrior. That might be the title of this. I'm carrying these guys the Black Warrior, and I'll catch all kind of crap all the rest of the year.
Oh yeah.
They hate me for that.
Oh well, I just said it. You'll be all right.
Oh, well,
I'm not telling you where I hunt at.
we're
Iowa,
gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Just y'all ain't gonna know it.
Go to Zone 5, Iowa. I'll see you there in about 7 years when you draw finally.
Zone 5.
Yeah.
What zone is that? Where's that at?
That's the best zone in whole Iowa,
Is
south
it?
of Des Moines. Yeah.
I don't know. What was that? I went zone 3 that year. Is that what that?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Over by the river over there.
57.
57. All the deer died there. You
They're
said
dead.
right?
All EHD, man, they're dead.
Golly.
We lost thousands of deer. They're done.
How many years I got to wait now to put in for drawing?
5 will take you about 6 or 7 years to draw. And it trickles on down from there.
Wow. So that's, our EHD, we have deer that'll get it, but then most of them live through it. We don't hardly ever
Yeah,
have anything
it doesn't
like
really
that.
affect the southern deer because I think they're genetically immune to it almost, where it's newer in the Midwest, so the deer haven't run into it. So after this year, the deer that live, they have immunity. So they'll breed and they'll pass that along. But what happens is they think different strains of EHD will come up from the south like every couple of years. And it's a little different, so they're not used to that one yet. So they're still trying to build like herd immunity to all these EHD strings. So it hits pretty hard. It wipes out like the mature bucks. Usually only, but this year it wiped out mature bucks, mature does, even some younger bucks died.
Wow.
So they found like thousands of deer. Like any water system pretty much wiped out most of the deer. It takes about 5 years, they say, for it to bounce back.
Wow.
But listen to some like juries and some other guys, like the deer that do live, their available resources open up, so they get a lot bigger, a lot faster. Like the deer that did live will blow up. Like the buck's rack size will grow substantially the years like after EHD.
That's a pretty good little topic there. So even though y'all's numbers are not that big, so you even when you reduce them that much lower, the food that they're having, you're talking about availability, makes them grow bigger that quick. So that almost, like we've had that discussion in the South, some of the management stuff is that if you get too many bucks, bucks eat buck food, so the racks kind of, get affected by it. So finding a fine line on that for the management program or whatever it will be.
Carrying capacity goes into that. But like the Midwest has all that millions and millions of acres of ag to carry them through.
But y'all's
but the browse
native browse associated with ag is way more better than ours.
Yeah, like tonnage and nutrients per tonnage is probably better than down here. But because the soil is some of the best in the world, like up there. But we have, because you have open ag farming, the availability to that is less because we have less browse per se. More tonnage, but less of it, if that makes sense. Because we don't have as much wood lots and stuff like that because it's more open ag country. So it depends on what part of the state. Like Zone 5 is more like hill country, big timber, stuff like that, so it has more tonnage. If you get up to like northeast, northwest part of the state, way less browse, especially like northwest, there's not a lot of deer there because it's all open. There's not a lot of habitat at all, so the browse the holding capacity is not very good. So it just depends on like what geographic area within the state. You're gonna have like the southern part of Iowa's always gonna have more deer, way more deer than the northern part, just because of habitat limitations for the northern part of Iowa.
Well, like also, I think I've heard people talk about this before. Like if you get like close to like carrying capacity in an area, like doesn't social stress like have something to do with it, or have you guys heard
there's some
that?
guys that believe it. I've seen some stuff on that online, but I don't know, man. Back in the day of Iowa, like there's guys I would know you could sit and you'd see 100 deer a day, and they just come out in a line. and you'd see does and bucks and bigger bucks, they all trickle out. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I think the more deer the better, because you got to have does to have bucks, so the more
Right.
does you got, the more bucks you're going to have.
Right.
And when the population was insane in Iowa, like, there's more big bucks because there's just more deer in general.
Yeah.
So,
As long as you got the food for that.
yeah, so I think the low population isn't the key to having big bucks.
Right.
I mean, I think there's a lot of other influence factors into that.
They're gonna argue with you here about that.
Oh, yeah.
They say the black warrior lower deer population and the genetics is the big thing, but a lot of it's what they say is the lower, carrying capacity. So
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, carrying capacity has a lot, but I think Iowa has more carrying capacity than what they would down here, to me. Well, we got better soil,
Right.
like, just the different genetics are way
well,
better.
your deer
Yeah,
3 times the big body wise than
yeah,
ours.
we got 300-pound bucks. Like, all the Booners I shot, they were over 300 pounds body weight.
So
So-
what would a 3-year-old, a standard 3-year-old, you think would rack potential be like?
3-year-old?
Yeah.
Shoot, they could be 140 to 160 something.
Yeah, they could be. I kind of figured in Missouri, at least where I'm at, if you just took the average 4.5-year-old buck overall, they're probably going to be, 140 or so. If I had to guess, an
That's
average
fine.
4-year-old buck, you're probably going to be about 140.
And I was going to be about 150, over 150s.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Right.
have thought Missouri would have been that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you get into like southern Missouri, like where I grew up, like you're 140 and up. Those are your top tier bucks.
Mhm.
I'd say more your average there is probably going to be like 130s. Probably 130.
Yeah, we don't. Our 3-year-olds, if it's 120, they'll be out of something.
Oh yeah.
It'll be spectacular, but basically. So.
I mean, I know guys that got shot bucks and they got them aged and they were 2.5 and they were 160 something inch bucks already.
It can happen.
You just got like the genetic freak bucks.
Mhm.
Wow.
And their skulls, like when you harvest a buck and you look at the skull size, it seems like those genetically freak bucks, their skulls are twice the size of a normal buck.
That's crazy. Even that, like when we go to New Brunswick, Canada, then I'll talk to them up there. They got some big old deer too, but not as many. But they tell me that up there, they got at least get to 4-year-old before they even grow a good rack because their bodies are so focused on getting mature
Mhm.
to live through the winter before they start going on a rack. So,
I could see that up there.
So-
yeah.
Mhm.
so that's kind of. I think Iowa would have kind of been like that, but I guess not. So it's just
I mean, if it does get cold, it can get down like -30, 40, but it's
Yeah.
only for
a little bit.
short duration, like a week, maybe 2 weeks at
Yeah.
the most.
Uh,
I mean, it can be below 0 for a month or so, but it's not like 40 below for a month, like up there in Canada.
Yeah, that might be the difference there. Because I went deer hunting with him. And I killed a 2-year-old. He just had a little 5-point rack, and it weighed 209 pounds. It was like golly,
Yeah.
and the
It's
bone
a tank.
structure and all that was
Yeah, it's
crazy.
way bigger, yeah.
It's just a different animal than our deer. So it's kind of unique and cool that there's different subspecies
Yeah.
or whatever throughout the country. So.
And you can have a mild winter, and I'll notice, like, this past winter was pretty warm. I'll notice the uptick.
Oh, that sounds.
Now I'm 10 years older than you did, but you started hunting before I did. I bet. What time? You hunted when you were 14?
No, 11.
11? I didn't start deer hunting until I was like 20.
Mhm.
So you got me beat by 9 years.
Yeah.
So we're about even, Steve.
Yeah, about even.
That's pretty good.
So before we wrap this up, we're gonna talk. Why or what makes you shoot a buck? I mean, when one walks out or whatever, say, all right, that's him. Why are you gonna shoot?
Well, that's a complicated question. 'Cause it can be a lot of things. One, if obviously it's a giant buck, then I want to shoot that. But also, like last year, and then kind of depending on how this year goes, like there's a certain number of bucks that I want to kill. So if the number of bucks that I want to kill is high, then my standards are going to be a little bit lower. If I haven't killed anything in the wild, guess what? My standards are going to be lower.
Well, there's gonna be a certain point you're gonna draw the line at. So
Right.
say age class 3.5 or,
3.5,
or
yeah.
4.5 or 150 or bigger or
Right. Yeah. If like last year, I was going for numbers, and I was already at the end of November, and I'm still trying to go for numbers. So I had a 3-year-old come by me in Illinois. I shot it, and then a week later, I shot one in Missouri, and that was, I believe, a 3-year-old. There as well, and then I was on to my Kentucky hunt because I was really trying hard to get 4 last year. So that'll influence my decisions sometimes. Like in 2022, whenever I killed my biggest buck to date, I didn't care about numbers anymore. All I wanted was another big one like that. And so I passed my biggest bucks that I've ever passed during that season. The rest of that season, I never shot anything else. That's fine because that's what my goals were. So I mean, it can be a multitude of reasons why I do, why I don't shoot a deer. Or, and how my standards kind of fluctuate throughout the year, because I can go in the season saying one thing, and then
change your mind.
something happens. My mind's changed.
Yours ain't gonna change it.
No, I'm pretty hardcore, so I'm set on that.
Mm.
I think
Set on the Booner line, ain't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Booner or bust. So my whole judgment is one thing. When the deer walks out and I see it, if my brain automatically says I'm shooting it, I'm shooting it.
Mm.
If I have to second guess and stare at the rack and calculate geometry and all this crap, and I'm like, oh, maybe, oh, man, oh, look at that tine, it's busted, oh, no, I'm not shooting the deer. I don't care how long I look at it.
Mm.
It's either pops out, I'm like, yeah, it's dead or not. Like, last year I did kind of teeter into, like, I was hunting some other states, and I was like, oh, that would have been a cool story. But I just passed the deer anyways. But I was like in Indiana, I showed up, never been there before. I looked on the aerial map, and I was like, oh, it looks like a little clear cut. I went there to scout it. It was standing corn. I grabbed my crap, ran back in there, set up, had a buck come out 10 yards for like 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, man, if I shoot this buck, it'd be an awesome story. I just showed up here like a couple hours ago. And I'm already on a deer, and he's right here, and I was filming me, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I had to second guess its rack size, so I just let it go. But I still beat the buck. I could have killed it if I wanted to. I was at full draw on it. So, I mean, and then I had another buck. He was bedded by me for like a couple hours. I don't know, 40 yards. He was bedded for 3 hours right by me at 40 yards, like a 140 or something in Iowa. And I just watched him the whole time, like debating, should I shoot this deer, should I not? And I'm like, I'm on a 190. I'm going to probably hunt the 190, so I just let him go. I was like, later, I was kicking myself because EHD killed the 190, and I was like, damn it. I should have shot that 140. But hey, it is what it is. And then I found another 190 later in the season, so I was like, all right.
So you was good.
Yeah, and he's still alive, so I'm chasing him around this year.
Wow. So what's the biggest buck you passed? Just guess. 150, 160 or what?
Yeah, probably close to 160. At like 5 yards, it walked right below me. I was just staring at it. Yeah, it was pretty tough.
You
It was a 150-inch 8-pointer in Kentucky.
passed a 158 pointer?
Yeah, I felt crazy for that one, trust me. But it worked out.
So that's when you killed the big one then, huh?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, that's worked out, but 150-inch 8-point is like
That's
world class.
Trust me, I know. Whenever I was hunting those deer down there at a distance, I could not tell any of their cages apart. Because that 8-point had the same size cages as these other bucks. And there was one, it wasn't the last time I saw that 8-pointer. And this wasn't the time that I passed him, but I knew he was out there in those beans. But he was in between me and the deer I was trying to get to, and so I had to get him out of there. And that buck let me get like 12 yards away from him before he stood up and ran out of there. And he got up right next to me and ran off, and I was just like, I'm an idiot.
I don't have any stories
Shot
like that.
thing.
Yeah, I don't have no stories like that. I ain't paying.
Oh, we're crazy.
Oh, that was
Midwest something for you.
That's all. Golly. Man, I appreciate y'all, coming on doing this. I didn't want to be that guy because what y'all's here doing is, but crap. To me, this stuff is like recording some history, because we're all love hunting and love the industry and love hanging out and telling all these stories and trying to help other people, accomplish their goals hopefully. But we all got to try to get along and promote each other and help each other and spread all this because we're a dwindling number, and so some of this riffs and stuff that people have, we need to kind of try to figure out a way to iron that out and try to stick together and help promote hunting and help, try to get it where it endures for the younger people in the next generation and stuff. If not, there's some stuff going on right now with, political stuff about hunting and stuff. It's going to be an issue. So we got to figure out how to work through that. So, but I appreciate y'all coming on and enjoyed this and it's great. So and looking forward to being on the show all weekend.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
So hopefully y'all will like this. Send these guys some messages because these guys are two serious next level hunters. Got a lot of experience. In what they do. So
I don't know about the serious part. No,
yeah. Well, serious hunters.
Yeah, I know. I do take that super serious. I'm just having fun right now.
Right, we're having fun. So
stuff I seem like a knucklehead. Probably true.
What's your catchphrase?
No balls, no books.
I don't have
he doesn't have one.
It's just the nature of the beast.
Nature of the beast. And we're trying to get one flat, so we're working on that. So we appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all. Hey, everybody, thank y'all for watching the videos. Well, again, we appreciate y'all's support. If you haven't liked, please like and subscribe. And you don't care if you haven't got one of our books, check out Amazon and get a book. Also, we got a link on there where you can, on our YouTube channel, where you can go on. We got a little store set up. Like if you're interested in any kind of merchandise, shirts and stuff, you can check that out. And we really appreciate anything like that. So again, we appreciate y'all's support. Keep watching. We're going to keep trying to share the outdoors and how we do some things and try to help everybody that we can enjoy the outdoors. And we do this for just basically because of the environment and the community that's involved and built around hunting. So again, we appreciate y'all. Like, share, and we'll see y'all again.